The Edo State we see under Pastor Osage Iyamu as governor. I got a call from Pastor Osage Iyamu in early 2016. I had never met him, but someone had given him my number. He said, "My name is Osage Iyamu. I would like you to come and work for my campaign. I have seen several of your articles, and one thing that is not in doubt is that you love Nigeria. Well, Edo State is Nigeria. Here is a chance to get your feet in the mood." I was bowled over, thankful that someone so esteemed had recognized my work and at the same time thrown a challenge. You challenge an Esan man to your peril. We do not back down. He sent me a ticket and I flew to Benin to join him at dinner. Before my trip, I had called up some of my friends in Benin to ask them questions. Who was this fellow? What does he stand for? What are his antecedents? Everyone I spoke with, friend or foe, had one thread running through their assessment of him. A common refrain about him was that that guy is a leader. Our country has been in search of people who would lead from the front since the demise of the First Republic, when the Titans were vanquished in an unfortunate coup and subsequent counter coup. Nigeria has been in a state of suspended animation. Nothing has been spared. The hurricane of military governance that blighted the moral, economic, political, and ethical fabric of our country. However, Edo State was in some measure spared the disaster that befell the nation in those years because we were fortunate to have Samuel Ogbemudia and Professor Ambrose Ali. Those two helped to stop the general slide of underdevelopment that developed and enveloped the rest of the country. In my discussion and interactions with Osage leading up to the election of 2016, what I saw was a man who was very single-minded and focused on the task ahead, calm, rarely agitated, and always ready to listen. These are attributes we need solely in Nigerian, but which sadly have been missing from the political landscape. As the 2020 election are upon us, we need to take a cursory look at Edo State in the last 4 years. One thing is clear: Obaseki is no longer an unknown quantity. In 2016, he barely spoke a word. Oshomole spoke for him, interviewed for him, danced for him, and sang for him. Obaseki just stood by Oshomole's side, smiling, almost handsome compared to his godfather. We all wondered, mouths wide open, our brains spinning. How could a man stake so much for another human being? Oshomole at the time reminded me of John the Baptist. John humbled that he would baptize Jesus, quickly became small in his own eyes, and we all knew that John was no small guy. A man who could confront Herod and challenge him that what he had done by taking his own brother's wife could not have been a small guy by any measure. However, when he saw Jesus, he declared without equivocation, "He must increase and I must decrease," even though I was working for Iyamu at that time. We could not but admire Oshomole's totally endorsement of Obaseki and his willingness to take his own future on a man he barely knew. He then concluded that Oshomole must have known something we did not know. After my candidate lost, I joined him for dinner one evening and I asked him what he was going to do next. His reply surprised me. Well, he said, we have a governor who has been elected by the people and affirmed by the courts. I will work with him if he is willing to accept help. The guy does not really know the people and the people do not know him. But we can help him. I had tears in my eyes. It was comforting to hear those words coming from a man who had just lost an election to which he had devoted so much time and resources through the past years. Such is the metal from which Osage Iyamu is forged and the clothes from which his character is cut. As Obaseki's tenure began to unfold, we were at first hopeful that it would bring great development to the state. When we saw construction equipment prowling the streets of Benin, fixing roads, I was impressed. The press coverage of his achievements were positive and everyone began to applaud his choice. It did not take long for him to bare his fangs and begins to growl at his benefactors. He rode roughshod over all the political blocks Oshomole had deployed to take him to Osadebe House. In Macbeth by Shakespeare, King Duncan famously expressed the lines, "There is no art to find the mind's construction" in the face after he was informed that the Thane of Cawdor had been executed for his crime of treason. I do not know Oshomole. I have never set eyes on him in close proximity. All I know of him is from press coverage of him when he challenged the Obasanjo regime as he fought for the rights of workers. Everyone loved him and late Gani Fawemi begged him to run for president. The man went to Edo State to run for governor and helped along by people like Osage. He ascended the throne at Osadebe's house. The relationship between Osage and Oshomole got complicated to the point that Osage felt he needed to get out of the way completely to allow Oshomole to do his job. Unhindered, he did. When Oshomole completed 2 terms and nominated Godwin Obaseki to succeed him, one thing was clear: Oshomole was not going to let Godwin Obaseki go into the field against a tried and tested political giant like Osage Iyamu in Benin by himself. He would be eaten for lunch. Oshomole had to deploy everything in his arsenal to fight for his nominee. For people like me, who had a front seat in that epic battle, the day Obaseki began to spew venom at Oshomole, I called up friends in Benin to confirm if he had not been misquoted. He had to have been. No way. Alas, it was true. Obaseki had gone to the trenches very quickly to wage war against his benefactor. I saw a screaming headline that read, "It's fight to finish. Obaseki would take no prisoners. He would stop at nothing until he not only tore down Oshomole but also put him behind bars after a hurriedly assembled commission of inquiry which implicated his benefactor in heinous crimes." Thank you for listening to this news. My viewers, there is something we are not getting. You see the issue of Obaseki and Oshomole. Let me tell you something. Not that Obaseki is against Oshomole. He is still very much loyal to Oshomole for all that he has done for him in the past. But Oshomole caused the whole thing. Because you assisted someone doesn't mean that you want to always make decisions for the person. You want to always take the front seat when the person is supposed to always be at the front as the governor of the state. So in fact, the whole thing is the fault of Oshomole anyway. So please, I don't want us to get it wrong. All right. So please, your comments concerning this are very much important. Don't forget to leave them behind. Click on the subscription buttons as well as bell buttons to get updated